It's Armored Saint right here on your classic metal show from the Raising Fear release. That's Chemical Euphoria. And Chris, you're going to have to interpret this request for me because I'm not sure what this listener means by this.
Okay, let's hear.
Hey, cockfuckers. I guess that's you and I.
Yes.
Love the show. Bashing it out in San Francisco.
Good.
Thanks for cracking my ass up and causing me to fart from my front butt.
What?
That's what he said.
Is it a he or a she?
Well, his name is Nigel.
His front butt.
Fuck you, pal. Hand job from Rick Allen. So there you are.
I like that line a ton.
Yeah. Hand job.
Hand job from Rick Allen.
Right.
It's good.
So I don't understand the cracking me up from the front butt though. That's the thing I don't get it.
Maybe from his face? I don't know.
I guess.
I mean, what else would it be?
Well, I don't know the answer.
It's funny.
All right. Well, a couple of weeks ago, we did this CD review thing of a band called the Infirmary Kids.
Yes, we did.
And I knew nothing about them. Apparently, they're an Ohio band.
They are. They are based out in the West, I guess, out in lovely Lima, Ohio.
Ugh, what a dump.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
So we played some of the Infirmary Kids, and apparently one of the songs that we cued in on, we did not go deep enough into it.
That's what I was told. I was told that there's much deeper lyrics in the second half of the song.
Well, we basically were talking about the Fuck You song.
Right. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
And we didn't get deep enough into it, so apparently there were more lyrics to it than what we got into.
And we only listened to a small sampling. I mean, we were doing it on the fly. We didn't realize that we had to listen to these great songs deeply.
Right. So anyway, apparently your friend Stephanie, she did she inform the Infirmary Kids that we talked about them, or did they find out on their own, or how did this happen?
I don't know exactly how they found out, but there's somewhat of a story here.
Okay.
So what ended up, Stephanie was kind of sort of casually dating the singer.
Okay.
And that's how we ended up discovering the Infirmary Kids. And so as part of this, I don't even know what you call it, courtship or dating or whatever, this singer offered her the CD.
All right.
So she took the CD and she gave it a listen. And much like us, she was horrified.
All right.
Just disgusted and could not figure out what to do after hearing this, how to tell this dude how bad this shit was.
All right.
So her and I text all the fucking time. That's if you just heard it here in the background. That's her texting me.
Okay.
But she was texting me one day and she's like talking about this disc and how bad it was. And I was like, you guys got to bring it to me. You got to let me hear this.
All right.
Because, if it's bad, I want it. So anyway, she hits me up and she's like, how do I tell this dude that I don't want to go out with him anymore?
Oh, well, I mean, how do you do it? You say, well, I don't want to go out with you anymore. That's how you do it.
Well, that's how, but she was, we were just playing around more or less on the texting. And I threw her a text that said something to the effect of, I listened to your CD, ... and I can't see you anymore.
Okay, so I could see that being very funny.
Yeah, right. It's just a joke, right?
Okay.
Until it gets sent verbatim to the guy.
And how did that happen?
She did.
Okay.
And needless to say, that turns into a whole problem, as you can very well imagine.
Well, how deep into this can you get without...
Oh, I'll get around. She told me I could talk about it. Her exact quote was, "Just don't make me look horrible."
All right.
It's like, okay, that should be easy enough. So basically, this guy gets pissed off that she's like that and doesn't appreciate his
art
talents.
Okay. Well, first of all, is this Infirmary Kids? Is this a band, or is this one guy who calls himself the Infirmary Kids?
No, they play gigs.
Okay, this is a band.
Yeah, she met him at a gig, I believe.
Okay, so he's the singer, lyricist, what?
He's the singer and the lyricist.
Okay.
So this is basically his creation with other guys playing with his band.
All right.
And so, needless to say, she throws him this text, dumps him by saying that your music's horrible and therefore I can't see you. And of course, that starts into a big, motherfucking of each other. He's motherfucking her, she's motherfucking him, and it just turns into a big thing to where now his big threat to her. Well, before I get to his big threat, in the middle of all this is when we ended up with the disc.
Okay. So, well, I'm gonna go back to, a little bit of something here.
Yeah.
At what point does it end to where you don't need to go back and forth with the, derogatory name calling, as you said, the fuck you, this middle finger is for you, fuck you. At what point do you just cut it off and just don't acknowledge it anymore?
Me personally or her?
Well, anybody. Why even get into that? Why don't you just let it go from the get-go and be done with it?
Well, I agree with you on that. I mean, and meanwhile, saying that, I have been horrible at actually honoring that.
Well,
my ex.
Sure.
But, it's, I agree with you. Usually the easiest way would be like, look, this shit didn't work. We're out. Bye.
Well, the difference is that you had a 23, 24-year relationship with this,
right.
woman, plus you share several kids with her.
Right.
So it's not like you can just, break and cut all ties and be done with it.
Right. Yeah,
but in a dating situation, when you don't share anything more than the swapping of some body fluids at one point,
right.
Regardless, right. Why don't you just cut it off and be done with it rather than going back and forth with the I hate you, I hate you, fuck you, well, you fuck you, and I'm gonna,
well,
whatever.
The only thing that I'll offer in this specific case, I agree with you in the big spectrum. In this specific case, this guy's a musician, and you know how touchy musicians are.
Well, I do, but
you criticize their work.
Yeah, but you don't have to acknowledge their, their what do you want to call it, attacks or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Just because you said you didn't enjoy whatever it is that they did, and they came back with a, well, screw you then, and you don't need to retort.
Well, you don't, but most people will. Most people will take to an attack with an attack.
Personally, I would not.
Personally, I would all day long.
Well, I know, but you enjoy that kind of thing.
I do. But I honestly think in many regards, most people do. I think most people cannot just accept it and just because they feel like they're accepting that they're wrong. Everybody's got to justify everything they make is right.
Right.
And I don't know. I mean, obviously, I wasn't party to this email trade or text trading conversation.
Sure.
But I'm going on what I heard here, so this is third hand a little bit.
Okay.
But so apparently, in between when this breakup goes on, is when I end up with the disc.
Okay.
And that's when you and I analyze the disc.
So what? at what point did she decide that you needed a copy of this disc? Because she thought she knew what you were going to do with it, or
Oh yeah.
Okay.
She definitely knew that if she knew how bad it was, and she totally knew that if I heard this, that it would create hours of hilarity on the CMS.
Okay.
She knew that she knows the show enough to understand that is what I do and that is what you and I do.
So she just baited the trap then.
More or less.
Okay.
So we did our thing. Apparently it got back. And now in the creative works, in the world of the fuck yous, is a new song being written of the fuck you Stephanie song.
Okay.
So apparently she's in for a real beating.
Oh,
you know.
Well, again, at what point does she still have contact with this guy to where she's aware that this is even going on?
Oh, he texted her and told her that that's what he was going to do.
Oh, and how old is this guy?
30s.
Okay.
You know.
So going back to my original point.
Yeah.
At what point do you just kind of like,
Walk away?
walk away?
I would think pretty quick. If it was me, it'd be very quick. But
So do you even did you see the text, or do you know the basis of the text?
seen
It's
the
like,
text.
well, you're gonna be sorry because I'm squirreled away in my my garage, and I'm penning a song that says "fuck you, Stephanie," and you're gonna be so sorry.
That's pretty close. I don't
Really?
wanna get exactly what it says because I don't even know if we could legally. But I'll just say that it's something to the effect of "I'll show you when we make it big." Blah blah blah.
When we make it big. Well, they did. They made it as big as they're going to get because they actually got airtime on the Classic Metal Show. So,
Which is probably a lot more listeners than they ever had before.
Right.
So yeah, so that's where that stands now. We're waiting for this track to be released.
Wow.
And believe me, the minute it's released, I will have it.
Well, okay. So I guess then the next question I have,
Okay.
from a defamation of character, standpoint, not knowing what the content of this song is going to include.
Yeah.
What makes this guy think that he could, possibly pen a song about her? Again, not knowing what the content is going to, contain, without, any kind of ramification from this.
Well, Stephanie will think it's funny, so she would probably never sue.
Sure. Well, I'm not even talking about suing so much as, you never know. I mean, who knows? I don't know Stephanie from Adam. Obviously, I took a picture with her.
Right.
Met her one time.
Right.
What if she knows some really ghetto bullies?
Well, yeah. And believe me, living in Lima, everybody you know is a ghetto bully of some
Oh, I
sort.
know. I lived there for 2 years or almost 3 years, and unfortunately, I got married there at one point.
That explains a lot.
So that alone, I've risen above that.
Right.
In years since, but I too was a Lima resident at one point.
Boy, I am sorry to hear that, my friend. Wow. I was there this weekend. Woof. What a place.
So anyway, so this guy is penning a song about her to basically show her the middle finger, pal.
That's right. This middle finger's for you, Steph.
Wow.
And tell me honestly, you can't wait to hear it, can you?
Well, of course not, because we know it's going to be bad.
It's going to be horrible.
It's going to be horrible. And it's just going to make good fodder for the show.
It's going to be another hour of pure hilarity.
Right. All right. Well, continue, sir.
Okay. Well, while we are, as we said, while we are talking about the lovely city of Lima, I had the privilege of spending yesterday in Lima, the lovely Lima, which was my second time ever visiting the lovely Lima. Ooh, What a dump.
Right.
I can't believe you lived there for 3 years. How in the world I know you well enough to know you're not going to stay in a fucking slum.
No, I lived outside of the city, so I didn't live in Lima per se.
Okay.
But I did go to college there.
Okay. So, I mean, you had to drive through the oil fields or
Well,
whatnot.
I didn't. I lived on the north end of town, which, was near the mall. I don't know if you went to the mall at all, but I lived over that direction.
Yeah. No, I did not go to the mall. I chose to stay with the bars.
Okay.
No, truthfully though, yesterday myself and my friend Adam, we cruised down to hang out with Steph last night and just fucking run Lima. She decided that she wanted to show me downtown Lima and what goes on there.
Okay.
In the lovely Lima. So we headed out and we drove down there. It's like 3 hours from here.
Now she lives on the east side of Lima.
Okay.
All right, I'm just look at
I don't know
Tampon Slurpee, the Lima Mall. That's right, the Lima Mall.
All I know about where she lives is that we were in, I went where the GPS said to go.
Okay, so did you go to the actual downtown area, or were you outside of the outskirts, or where did you go? Do you know?
I was in and out of most of those oil or gas or whatever that is. That's pretty much the district that I was in.
Okay, so you were in the industrial area.
Yeah, pretty much. Like there's like that tank plant or military plant where they build military shit.
Yeah, they build a tank out there.
Yeah, so that's where I was near there.
Okay.
Somewhere just on the outskirts of that area. And, so we get down there and you know me. The minute I get down there, I'm like, let's get some beers. Let's get this party started. Let's rock.
Okay.
So we, of course, buy a case of beer and we drink maybe half of it before we leave. And then she wants to go to the bars. So we go to this first bar. This place is called, I don't want to say what it's called because she actually works there. So we go to this one bar, the first bar, and it's pretty packed with the most redneck hilljack fucks I've ever seen in my life.
Sure.
I was astounded by the number of dudes wearing fucking way too tight affliction clothes and fucking wool caps.
Right.
I don't know what the hell was going on in this place, but it was nothing but dudes that looked like they just got off the tractor from fucking plowing a field.
Well, they probably did.
I know, but it was just, dude, it was embarrassing to be there. I literally was embarrassed for these dudes. I mean, just bad, man. And these wool caps. I don't know what it is. Is that a fad that's going around now? The wool caps with like a little visor on it, but it's covered with the wool visor.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, is that a fad right now, or is that just this area?
I think so. I think a lot of these guys are wearing these wool caps even in the summertime.
Oh, horrendous look. Just horrendous. And, so I'm looking, I'm a people watch guy. And I'm watching the people and, I'm just astounded at the fact that there's probably 4 people in here that can count to 20.
Right.
I mean, it was a packed bar. I mean, it was very full, and we hung out there for a while, but, we drank a bunch of drinks there and, I got bored real fast. You know how I get, dude. I'm ready to go to the next party and ready to crank it up a little bit.
Sure.
Just sitting there watching people while fucking Hall & Oates is playing over the speakers or whatnot. It's just not that fun to me. So I want to go do something else. And so I, of course, say to Stephanie and our friend Adam, I'm like, I want to go to whatever strip bar you got down here in Lima.
Right.
And I want to buy Stephanie lap dances, and I want to take pictures.
Okay.
I want to turn the party up a little bit. And so she's like, all right, I know this one strip club in town called the, I forget what it was called. The Landing Strip.
Oh, how original.
Yeah, no, So I'm like, okay, cool, let's get over there. So we go, we cruise over to the landing strip, pay our little bit of money to get into this place. And I am absolutely astounded at how I've never been. Let me preface this. I'm not a strip club guy necessarily. I don't know. You like strip clubs at all?
I have been to. I could probably count the number of strip clubs I've been to in my life on one hand.
Yeah, I'm not a strip club guy either. I've been to one or two bachelor parties at a strip club, but ultimately, I would say in my entire adult life here in the States, now Korea was a different animal because you could really end up banging the strippers, but in the States, I would say I've been to the strip clubs no more than 5 or 6 times total.
Oh, okay.
Since I came back to the States in 1989, I think.
All right.
So from then till now, 5, 6, no more than 10 times have I ventured into a strip club. It's just not my thing.
Sure.
But for whatever reason, I was just in that mood. Maybe it's the whole being single thing. And maybe it was probably just the fucking thought of making shit happen in the strip club to get Stephanie uncomfortable.
Right.
Which, and you've seen me with her. That is how I am with her.
Right.
So we go to the landing strip. And we walk into this club. And I am appalled at the lack of talent going on in this.
Right.
This now, mind you, last night was Friday night on what is the busiest party night of the party weekend of the year, right?
Right, exactly.
Weekend?
Right.
So you have to think that the strip club is going to have their absolute best talent on display. No?
Well, I think that you're overthinking that, actually.
You don't think that on the busiest night where they could make the most money, the best strippers should be in the house?
I don't think anybody thinks that far ahead. They just give you what they have.
Okay, fair enough. Well, they certainly gave us what they had. And what they had was a collection of linebackers and G-strings.
Nice.
It was horrendous. Most of the girls in this room had to be 180 to 240.
I believe that.
I am talking big girls.
Big girls.
Big girls. Like not, and none of them attractive.
Right.
Literally, as we walked in, you know me, I'm loud and obnoxious in anywhere that I am. So I'm in this club, and the first girl comes up, this big Amazon black girl. And I just fucking yell out as loud as I can, "Coming to the stage, Serena Williams."
Nice.
Fucking the room just fucking loses it. We're fucking dying, because I'm just being a silly asshole.
Right.
And now the thing with this club, though, is, you know how most strip clubs work. The girls, start dressed and they dance through one song, and then they take off one piece of clothes, and then they take all their clothes off.
Right.
That's how this shit normally works, right? And then they go around. There's chairs sitting around the table, or the dance floor rather, and they more or less work the room trying to get bucks.
Sure.
That's how this works.
Right.
Not in this place. In this place, you've got the dance floor, and it's like low to the ground. It's even with the tables and chairs. It's not like raised at all.
Right.
But there's like a railing. Okay, so there's a railing around the dance floor, if you're following me. So for whatever reason, the move that these girls are doing is putting their arms on the railing and putting their legs on the guy's shoulders and just grinding snatch into their face.
Wow, that sounds appetizing.
Oh, it might have been if these girls were 120 pounds. But they weren't. These girls look like me. Just big, beefy girls.
Right.
And these guys are eating it up like they've never seen nudity before.
Well, that's what's called corn-fed girls.
Corn-fed?
Yeah, they're corn-fed girls.
There's more than corn-fed. These were McDonald's monsters. I mean, they were fucking big and fat. All of them.
Right.
And so I'm watching all this, and then immediately, I want to get it. I had it in my head that I was going to get one of these big broads on my shoulders.
Oh, boy.
And then I was going to stand up and see if she found it.
Oh, boy.
I immediately was going for that, So immediately, of course, Stephanie stops me. As soon as she sees me grabbing money off the table to go out there, she's like, "What are you doing? You're not doing that." It stops me.
So was this place crowded?
Not particularly. I mean, there was probably maybe 30 dudes and 8 strippers.
Okay.
So, I mean, that would be my best guess. So anyway, this place is so freaking cheap. At this point, I start looking around a little bit, just getting a picture of the vibe of the room. And you know how in most strip clubs, they have like a back room where you can go and get like...
Yeah, the champagne room is what they often call it, yeah.
Right. And that's where you can get like the real dirty lap dance.
Sure.
Shit, or maybe give you a handy or whatever they do. Depends on the room, I guess, or the club, I guess.
Right.
But this place, not so much. This place has a space in the back of the room that they just don't have tables in. And there's like steps leading up to some booth or something.
Okay.
And the girls, when they get somebody that's going to pay for the extra special lap dance, just lean the guy back on the fucking steps. Just sit him on the steps and lean him back and fucking jump up on him.
Wow.
It was fucking horrendous. I'm watching this go on. And there's like some girl like simulating like she's on top of the dude banging him.
Okay.
And I'm watching this dude, and the only thing I could think of is, man, I feel sorry for those steps.
Sure.
Because the steps are getting pounded by this 180-pound girl on top of this 200-pound guy. I'm like, holy shit.
Wow.
What the fuck is going on back there? It was just horrendous, man. So this goes on for a while, and we're just fucking, me. I just get into my comedy vibe, and I'm just cracking jokes and having fun, and I'm breaking everybody up, and we're just having some fun, right?
Sure.
And then at some point, the announcer, the DJ, whatever, announces, all the girls get up on the stage. We need all the girls to the stage. Like, all right. So all the girls end up on the stage, and it is fucking 4 tons of beef. It's just really, really horrendous seeing this.
Sure.
And they're all up there, and then they bring up some other girl that I guess it was her birthday or something. So they bring this girl up, and they sit her in this chair, and then it is just an absolute horror factor for like 10 to 15 minutes of these girls just fucking laying snail trails on her face.
Oh, boy.
And just cellulite being shaken in her face, and gross, small. For as big as all these broads were, none of them had big tits, so it was just fucking gruesome. They look like dudes. It looked like Baby Huey. Well, a bunch of plucked Baby Hueys.
Well, that's what you call a flatty.
Oh, boy, she was a flatty. They were all flatties, all right. There was no boobs in this place. All ass, and all of it just cellulite-ridden, grossness.
Well, they're just paying their way through college.
Yeah, sure they are. What college? College? McDonaldland College? Come on. This was horrible. And this girl looked horrified. She's like sitting there and literally just stripper after stripper getting up and just rubbing her shit in her face and in her lap, and she just wanted to crawl into a hole and die, and I don't blame her at all. It was so bad. And then at the end of this, then the strippers pull out these belts,
okay,
and start whipping each other with the
nice.
So, and they're not giving like birthday spanks to the girl.
Right.
They're beating each other.
Nice.
Just pounding each other with these belts.
Wow.
We're just freaking. the whole ambience of it, that you got these dudes in the front and they're hooping and hollering like this is like the greatest thing they've ever seen.
Well, it probably is for them.
Oh, and then you've got these fucking 8 whales on stage looking for a tub to jump in. And in the back, you got another guy that's getting grinded on the steps by another Amazon. And meanwhile, I never did get to. I was looking for any one of these girls that would have been decent, so that I could have fucking hooked that up with Steph just to have some fun with it.
Right.
Especially put her on the steps and have some fun with that. Once I saw that's how it worked.
Sure.
That's what I wanted to do.
Right.
But I was afraid for her life, dude. I was afraid she would absolutely be crushed. And I mean literally crushed. So finally we just decided that we were going to leave this place. We couldn't find any talent that was any good. So we had to leave.
Okay.
So we leave, and Stephanie's like, I know one more bar that has some band that she knows or something playing at it.
Was it the Infirmary Kids?
No, it wasn't the Infirmary Kids.
Oh.
I don't remember what the name of this band was.
Damn it.
All they were playing was Garth Brooks covers.
Okay.
And it was okay. I mean, they weren't. To be fair, they weren't bad. They weren't good, but they weren't bad. They were just, an average cover band, like you would expect in Lima, Ohio.
Sure.
So they're playing, and then myself and our friend Adam, we go in the back, and there's a pool table, and Adam's a pool guy, so he's trying to shark some pool. And Steph is there, and she runs into a friend of hers named Tori. This girl might have been the most unattractive girl I've ever seen in my entire life.
Even worse than the strippers?
Oh, yeah. 1,000 times worse for 2 reasons. 1, she looked like the strippers. And 2, the most unattractive personality of anybody I've ever met in my entire life.
How so?
Oh. So she comes over, and first of all, she's a big broad, good 180 pounds. Again with the wool hat, Another one with the wool hat. Big husky voice like she smokes 6 packs a day.
Sure.
Sounds like fucking Lurch.
Nice.
Fucking big old voice. And just the most obnoxious bitch I've ever talked to in my life. She comes over and she's talking to us, and she's talking about how she's just out tonight to get some dick, and all
she's out to get some dick?
To get some dick.
Really?
Literally, these are her words, not mine.
Wow.
That's the vernacular she's using, is she's out to get some dick.
Wow.
It's to find some dick tonight. And dick. And then she starts talking about how she loves fucking married guys, and she can't find anybody in the room with a ring that fucking would have enough money to fucking
married guys,
her.
Okay.
And she's going on and on and on, and then she starts telling us how there's 3 different women that have fucking police reports against her, and all this shit that they're after her for fucking their husbands. And
this is a friend of your friend Stephanie?
I would say an acquaintance more than a friend. Okay. Because Stephanie works at this one bar that we started at, I think she knows her from around the way. I don't think anybody that lives in Lima doesn't know everybody in Lima.
Sure.
And that's the impression I got. And I mean, Stephanie's looking at me, I'm looking at her, and we're just fucking horrified hearing these stories.
Right.
You know me, dude. It takes a lot to shock me. And this girl truly shocked me. I had never heard anybody that was this repulsive. Just repulsed me to no end hearing these fucking
So you said, "Get out of my sight, you sicken me."
I just stood there in shock. I mean, in shock, dude. I mean, I know there's whores out there, and there's girls that are definitely hoary. And this was hoary on a monumental scale, on a scale I can't even relate to.
Sure.
And this wasn't like a 2-minute conversation either.
Right.
This was 15 or 20 minutes hearing about, well, I was banging this dude, and then he got tired of me, so then I went to this other dude's house to finish the job. And I was like,
finish the job? Okay.
Out of control, dude. I mean, it was just like fucking ridiculous. So we dealt with her for a while, and Adam was making money playing pool, and so we were kind of stuck just sitting here listening to these stories until they finally last called us and kicked everybody out of the bar and whatnot.
Right.
So of course then we go back to Steph's place, and there's still half a case of beer to be drank, so of course we drink that and just fucking goofed around for the rest of the night. Nothing crazy or nothing, although we did end up wrestling at some point, me, Adam, and her.
Okay.
As I got all, by this point, I'm pretty liquored up myself. So it was, look at this, Kim in Chicago. So long story short, Chris is engaged. Chris is not engaged. Thank you. Chris is not even dating Stephanie. We're just friends. Stop it. Not that I would mind, but no, we're just friends.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, so that's pretty much the fun of my night last night. But is Lima a dump? That place is the worst. When you told me you lived there, I was absolutely fucking stunned that you would live in that place. That just seems so beneath you.
Well, it wasn't because I thought, oh man, Lima, what a great place to go. I think I'll just live there. Yeah. It just happened to be that the school I went to is located there.
Right.
So, it wasn't, by choice that I thought, man, that would be a fantastic place to live.
Well, I can tell you this. For months, when I'm talking to Stephanie, she's always talking about moving up this way. She wants to live in Cleveland or near Cleveland somewhere. Has to get out of Lima. For personal reasons, she can't for another year and a half.
Sure.
But she's quite plainly planning to leave Lima the day that those 18 months are over.
Yeah, I don't blame her.
And I constantly am like, oh man, how bad can it be? Anywhere you live is home if you make it your home, right?
Right.
Until I went there last night and spent time there.
Nice.
And now that I've spent time there, I get it.
Yeah. Have no interest in, ever going back.
I'll go back as long as she's there. But I'll tell you this, the minute she moves out of there will be the last time I ever see Lima.
Right.
Wow, what a dump.
Right.
Holy smokes.
It is. I mean, it was a dump, almost 30 years ago when I lived there,
I certainly don't. Look at what Kurgan just wrote. Then she can move to a quality town like Ravenna.
Right. Exactly.
Oh, that's local humor, but that's pretty darn funny.
Right.
But yeah, that was my escapades on yesterday. I've been running, dude, as you know. I was out all night Wednesday night.
Sure.
I was out partying Wednesday night till I think 9:30 in the morning.
Well, you gotta heat it up and burn it out while you can.
Yeah, well, I'm definitely burning it out.
Sure.
I don't know about heating much up, but I'm certainly burning it hard. There's too many nights there. There's too many nights lately that have ended at like 5, 6, 7, 9, 10 in the morning. But whatever. Got to live once, right?
Sure.
So that was. This microphone is fucking up.
This you actually sound much better now. The hiss is gone and the noise is gone and everything's gone.
Oh, that's good. Well, it just went to one channel for a second, so I gave it a good whack. Now it's back. So
yeah, you sound perfect now.
Good. That works.
All the noise is gone.
Perfect. So anyway, that's my Lima story and my Infirmary Kids story for the night.
Sure. Well, let's take a little break here.
All right.
We'll come back. The demon in the chat room, she said, in honor of Chris's stories, we need to play some Ted Nugent Thunder Thighs.
All right.
So here's